Welcome to the Primo's Musings podcast.
Good morning. This is Sri Primo here with the quick recap of the women's singles final that happened yesterday between Jessica Pegula from the United States and Sabalenka. Uh, Before I actually get into that, I just wanted to make a quick shout out. The men's final between Fritz and Sinner starts around 2 p.m. right around the time the NFL football kicks off. So it's going to be a lot of toggling between back and forth matches between tennis and football. Anyway, coming down to the Pegula and Sabalenka match that happened yesterday, and it was such a fantastic match at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. In the earlier um, uh, first 3 or 4 games, at least each of the player actually held their serve, and in the third game of the match, or third game of the first set, Sabalenka was a little erratic on her forehand, and Jessica was able to jump on it, and much to the crowd's happiness and excitement, she was able to break Sabalenka. It's been impossible to break Sabalenka, especially after her serve has definitely improved a lot over the years. And even her, not just the serves, I mean, a couple of things in terms of her stroke making. I don't know, maybe she was nervous. I mean, one stat that had was like Sabalenka had never won the US Open, but every match that she had lost in the US Open was a three-setter. And Jessica jumped on a weak second serve, hit it right to the back, almost to the back of the baseline, and was able to break Sabalenka. But Sabalenka was able to calm her nerves, and she was able to uh, come in on a short ball. She hit it to Jessica's backhand, come in, and then um, I got her a break point in that process, and was able to even the score at 2 games apiece, and that probably helped her calm her nerves because never easy playing in front of 15 to 20,000 people, pretty much a partisan crowd, all rooting for your opponent. And for Sabalenka, who's been, I would call it, pretty much like losing in 3 sets every time, it's always a challenge. But then Sabalenka really put on a display and jumped to a very quick 5-2 lead. Watching this match, I did think that she was going to run away with it pretty much. Jessica managed to hold on to her nerves, have a good service game, but then Sabalenka was throwing at 5-3 for this first set, but Pegula managed to get to a break point and continued to push. I mean, she was able to just get the ball back, and she played like excellent defense throughout, and then kept Sabalenka thinking throughout the game, throughout the match, through. And but Sabalenka really comes up with a huge forehand and then evens it. But again, Pegula continued to fight, and when one of the unforced error from Sabalenka's forehand went out, she was able to prevent her from winning the first set. And then Pegula was able to have a great service game, get on to 5-all, and the crowd definitely got into it. But Sabalenka had a good service game at 5-all. It was close. I mean, it was a close 30-all, and with Jessica just pounding on a weak second serve, pounding on with a great forehand. The speed at which Jessica was hitting her forehands was actually good to see. Um, and once Sabalenka was able to hold on and go up to 6-5, I was really looking forward to a tiebreaker But 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 then Sabalenka was able to, I mean, really take. This is why she's world number one. Um, Take it to the next level. I mean, when number one and number two players like Sinner and Djokovic smell um, like when they're up 6-5, they put a lot of pressure on their opponents, and Sabalenka did exactly that. Um, and she was able to get Jessica. I mean, she had a little, I wouldn't call it a lapse in concentration, like we talked about even like yesterday with Fritz. Um, but it was just one of those things where once she got into one or two, once she got down on her serve, it was difficult for. And again, she actually had um, an ad point on her serve. She was able to get it back, but then I mean, Sabalenka was just too good, and comes in closer, had a drop shot, um, and then got it to deuce, and then it was one of a bad shot uh, by Jessica, and then that enabled um, Sabalenka to get the first set. So with the first set in the bag, the chances for Pegula to come back um, definitely became a little more tougher. But give credit where it's due, and I think Sabalenka raced off to a 3-0 start, and it seemed like she was just going to walk away with the U.S. Open at 7-5, 3-0. But Pegula on Sabalenka's serve at 3-1, where she could have gone to a 4-1 lead and almost made it impossible for her to come back. Um, Hit a great forehand, and Sabalenka's ball just sailed out. And Jessica was able to get back and on her serve, able to hold uh, uh, her thing to get to even the score to 3-all. So there are a lot of back and forth rallies, great backhand rallies. But she moved Sabalenka all over, and then uh, finished off with a great winner. And so, I mean, give credit to Jessica for staying on in the moment. The crowd behind her back, Roddick watching her, and a lot of celebrities actually in the house yesterday. And once she was able to get to it, uh, she really battled really hard. And there was a point in a moment where um, she definitely had, like, she could have easily gone up. Um, I think to win that second set, she had every opportunity to win. She was up 4-3, an ad point, and but but then and she even went up 5-3 when uh, she hit a great forehand to Sabalenka's backhand. Sabalenka put it in the net. Um, Steph Curry in the crowd, Lewis Hamilton in the crowd, Noah Lyles in the crowd. So even the crowd was definitely in the groove here. With they're egging Jessica to take it to the third set, out of love for the third set, but Sabalenka just kept her poise, and then um, there were a couple of excellent shots where she comes to the net and then whips, and then goes. It was almost like a Pete Sampras and Roger Federer um, turns her back to Jessica, flips with her backhand, and gets a winner there. Amazing, amazing rally that she was able to generate on that point. But with that, she got to 5-all, and then just continued to keep the pressure back on Jessica. Um, and then once she was able to do that, Jessica had the chance. I mean, and Sabalenka was definitely, um, on it was she was able to serve to take a 6-5 lead, and it was up to Jessica to hold on to take it to the tiebreaker. Close point, back and forth they went, and Jessica was I mean, she matched shot for shot with Sabalenka, but Sabalenka just at the points that mattered a lot, able to come up with some excellent shots and excellent, puts a lot of pressure on Jessica. And when Jessica's ball sailed out, um, uh, Sabalenka wins her first U.S. Open. Finally, she gets she wins the her first U.S. Open, second Grand Slam of this year. Actually, more than anybody else, more than other women uh, in the draw. Iga won the other, and Krejcikova won the Wimbledon. So Sabalenka has the honor of getting two Grand Slams, the first and the last, the U.S. Open and the Australian Open, and also break the jinx of losing many three-setters at the U.S. Open, including one from last year. So she lost the one last year to Coco and then won it this year. So great. But the story also for Jessica is that this is going to give her ultimate confidence. I mean, she's been playing good of late. She did talk about a little bit of the confidence level earlier this year, but then over the past few months, she's definitely turned the corner. I mean, she's ranked number 6 in the world. I just think she's just knocking on the door for the Grand Slam title. But when you have Iga in the French Open, and you have Sabalenka, who's excellent in both the Australian and the U.S. Open, she would really need to take it to another notch to get that elusive title that also has eluded her for a long time. But give credit to Jessica. She battled. She played excellent 2 weeks. Coming back in the semifinals against Muhova, and then hanging in there against Sabalenka, 7-5, 7-5. So great for when you see like American tennis, you got the Navarro, you got Coco Gauff, you got Jessica Pegula. It bodes well for American women's tennis. And let's see if the American men today against Sinner, Taylor Fritz, if he can get that title, not just for him, the first title for him, but also a title that has eluded Americans since 2003, since Roddick won it. So I'm really looking forward to that match. And Dr. Dan and I will do a recap after the match. Thank you again for listening, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you for listening. Primo will be back soon.